we have to create the right vibe, the energy, and everybody at the organization has to feel so privileged to be here. It's no other way.
Thanks for listening to the Purely Arsenal podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at Purely Arsenal FP for all the latest Arsenal podcasts.
Welcome to another edition of a Purely Arsenal sit-down podcast. We asked for 2 wins this week. We got 2 wins this week. Neil Shah with his predictions again. Welcome, Neil. We're back to the top. We were at the top. We are at the top. How are you?
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Just reveling in this amazing defence of ours. Incredible. Is it 15 now? And 3 conceded. Is it 15?
All comps, yes.
All comps 15, yes. And equal George Graham's 7 consecutive wins without conceding a goal as well. So even equal the great George Graham's defensive machine. It's going well, Jack.
Yeah. Well, what's good about it as well is we don't really look like conceding. There's those games where big teams, they'll get away with it because of, a fantastic last-ditch goalkeeping performance or whatever it might be, or you get, lucky with stuff. But the signs are really positive with, what we're allowing other teams to have, almost killing games with 1 goal, almost, and that's a credit to the collective, really. And I think it starts from the top, and, with people like Gyökeres and how much he's adapted to that side of the game and things like that. It's real credit to Arteta and his coaching staff with how they get the whole. I mean, I'm sure you saw it in the 85th minute where Ranieri lost the ball and the speed at which 6 or 7 of them are getting back, even though we're 2-0 up, and you could no resting on your laurels. And he spoke about that after the game. So what I really like about it is the signs are really good about it. You could concede even last season. When we were fully fit, the signs were there. But what happened last season was those sort of very limited chances, they were scoring from them as well. So, it really was. And this season, touch wood, other than, the Liverpool game, really, that hasn't really been happening quite as much, or we've just not been giving them those chances. We've been so strong, which is so impressive. But you're right, the record that we've got there, in terms of, if you're getting up to the sort of George Graham levels of defence, and people comparing us obviously to that Chelsea team that conceded, which is a ridiculous record, by the way, the 15 conceded in the season. But, irrespective, the fact that we're even being talked in that bracket is incredible levels for this defence, and it has been coming though, Neil. He's really built from the back for years. That was the first thing he did, was all about getting in the back four that he trusted and then building on that, and he's improved it every time with all the signings that he's made, whether it's been squad depth or starters. Sometimes you watched it maybe a year or 2 ago and didn't think we could upgrade right back, and then you see Yuri and Timber, or left back. And it's been really impressive the way he's developed it. Or goalkeeper, a lot of people questioned, didn't they, when we tried to upgrade Ramsdale? You see the progression there. So he's real credit. But I mean, Neil, going into this one, it was we're going to start being played first again out of all the big teams, which I personally like. Well, I like it a lot if you get the result, because then you're really relaxed, aren't you? You're like, well, anything from here is a bonus, really. And that's kind of what it was like. And we did play first. But Burnley have had quite a good home record. They've only conceded 2 goals at home all season. So although they've, I think they were sitting 15th or 16th for the start of proceedings, they had a very good home record. I think Liverpool scored from a last-minute set piece to win the game at Burnley earlier in the season. And yeah, they've had a very good, that's really what's got them, out of the bottom 3 at least. So we knew, and Scott Parker, we knew it was going to be a pretty tough game in that sense. Team lineup, Neil, picks itself. Good to see Saliba come back in. Obviously, we don't have a lot in terms of depth in attacking positions at this point. We lost Martinelli. Don't know when he's going to be back. There's still a bit of a distance, it sounds like, with Madueke, Odegaard and Havertz. A little bit of frustrating, especially on Havertz and Madueke. I feel like we've done our time with those two particularly. I'm sitting there watching it going, okay, can we see a picture of them in training now, please? Like kind of thing. I understand everything takes time, but I think when you've got so many attacking injuries, we basically had 3 minimum all season. It's quite frustrating, I have to say. You know, we've been fantastic, so I can't let it really bug me too much. But nobody, I think the frustration more for me is nobody other than Arsenal fans talk about it. And that does frustrate me, because when we were poor last season and dropping points, no one discussed it. But now we're doing fantastically well, and still no one's really willing to discuss the fact of that. And when they bring up things like open play stats, they won't discuss that. And I think that's a real issue for me, because I'm like, you must know, you must be aware of the players that we've been missing. But anyway, Neil, we went into this first half, and I think it was probably one of the best first halves of football we've played all season. Burnley were pressing us really well, and we were so good on the ball. And at the heart of it were the 2 goal scorers, really. Declan Rice, and I thought Gyökeres had his best half of football in an Arsenal shirt. I thought he pressed so well. His ability to get us out and hold the ball up and link play was fantastic. Really, really fantastic, Neil. And he's got, I looked it up, I think he's got 6 goals now in 13 appearances total. It's not looking too bad, Neil. Not looking too bad at all. What were your thoughts on that sort of first half performance, Neil? I did think it was terrific. I think we created just under 3 XG in the first half. I mean, it was fantastic.
Yeah, pretty good, actually. I think Gyökeres probably was man of the match first half. Rice was man of the match overall for me. Just speaking of Rice quickly, the engine on that bloke, you mentioned it a bit earlier that, you know, even right at the death, they were racing back. There was one instance where that could have been the one you're talking about, where he took a corner and it spread out. It got to them. They transitioned right to the front, and who was knocking their header out at the back? It was Rice. He'd literally gone from taking a corner to defending in the space of about 7 or 8 seconds. And that was probably deep into 80 minutes somewhere, or close to 90. Insane. And he was good also offensively, of course, scoring the second goal, but wonderful performance. But Gyökeres, I think for me, it's not just the fact that he scored another goal. He scored a couple before, didn't he? In which game was it? Was it Atletico? Did he score a couple of goals? Was it Atletico? Yeah. So he's chipped in with another one again. Yesterday or today for you, I think still maybe. But it wasn't just the goal, Jack. It was his, as you said, his progression, his link-up play and his hold-up play, his strength. All these factors are now starting to tick. Now, I think I wasn't too concerned. I don't think you were either, but I think you just wanted to see a little bit more. But I just thought that missing that pre-season, I think counts for a lot in players at this level anyway, And I think now he's got into the point where he's got used to the pace and the physicality of the Premiership. Yes, everyone can say, yeah, but he's played before. Yeah, but he's been missing from it as well for a long time. And, you know, levels, the Premiership is evolving literally, I think, season by season. It's such a difficult and powerful league to be involved in. So it takes a bit of time to adjust. And I think now he's peaking. He's got to the optimum, you know, levels of what's probably expected of a player of his caliber. And, you know, there was a couple of times, that's a couple of them that really spring out, mainly because they showed it on the highlights for me, chat, because I couldn't get to watch the full game. But the Saka chance where he was 1-on-1, that all came from Gyökeres' ball, which is a really nice touch, actually. Really nice touch. And then I think he was involved in another one with, could have been Eze as well, again, where he lays it off.
I think it was Saka again. Yeah.
And it was Saka again. The Saka, I think for the 1-on-1 chance, that should have been a goal. He's got to be disappointed with that. I think the other one was slightly harder because actually he did force a good save out of the keeper. That's the one I'm thinking. Yeah, and then Trossard followed it up where they cleared it off the line, didn't they? So that was a great team move as well, by the way. So we were flowing in that one. The one where he was 1-on-1 was a nice move, and actually even the goal that Rice scored, Gyökeres, what a ball across past to Trossard, because he looked up. I watched it again slowly, and he actually does look up and he sees that Eze is not the option. So the way he played it to Trossard was a magnificent cross pass. I think really good vision, and it says
I'm saying they thought he meant to pass it to Eze.
I don't know.
To be honest, I can't tell. He does hit it in a weird way, but
I'm going to say
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Deliberate.
I mean, for the first half that he had, he deserves the benefit, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But the way he looked up as well, he did look up. If you watch it again, he does look. Yeah, I mean, you don't know for 100% sure, but I'd like to say he did mean that to Trossard. But whatever, it was beautiful. But anyway, going on this, so I think overall he was fantastic. Player of the half for me, although Rice was so good, for me, player of the first half, and I think he deserved that. But I also have to mention, again, so many different players, Timber as usual, Rice, Gabriel is just something else, isn't he? I mean, even for the first goal, he's still involved in it. He's still, even though Gigarit scores the header, who cushions it to him? It's Gabriel. Who puts the corner in? It's Rice. Incredible stuff from these players. And while, I agree with you, 2 pods ago, was it? I was saying, please God, no more injuries. We don't know why Gyökeres was taken off. I'm hoping it's because he got a bit of an elbow in the face or something, and it's also just a precaution, or he is genuinely just saving him for midweek. I don't know. I hope it's that.
I mean, they've said muscular issue.
Well,
they said he felt something muscular, but it's odd because you don't see him saying any of that, or obviously wouldn't, but or grabbing anything anywhere leading up to the end of the first half. He's walking off happy. Who
have we got left in this? Worst case scenario, if he is, who have we got left? Saka, Trossard,
Marino,
Ethan.
Yeah, Marino, and Ethan's basically been bound to not being in that front three this season.
No, he hasn't.
So really talking about Saka, Trossard, and pushing Marino up, and then probably a Dowman,
wow.
Which is getting to the levels of last season's fragility in terms of what we had to go with. I mean, last season we didn't even have Saka at that point. I think it was Sterling, for some games, and
that's right.
When we played like Leicester away and West Ham at home and things like that. It was not. Yeah, it is frustrating.
It is. We just seem to be this team that loses a player every game.
Yeah,
it really feels like that. I've been saying it for a while, and how can you sustain it at this level, even with our depth? Luckily, it hasn't affected us yet. But if it just carries on at this rate, it's going to affect us, isn't it? We're going to be left with nothing.
Hopefully, it's just precaution.
I'm hoping it is
on Gyökeres and Zubimendi. I mean, Zubimendi did ask to come off, and obviously he hasn't had much rest. It's neither Gyökeres all season, but really in the next 2. We really need him. I mean, we can't play Zubimendi in midweek, so I guess that's a blessing in the sense of he is feeling something. Maybe he's got a few extra days, but with Gyökeres, we really, because after the international break, there is even the most pessimistic side of me would say there's got to be a chance that 1 or 2 of these attackers are back. And that's where we could, maybe afford a little bit of rotation and things like that. But at the moment, we just, and hopefully he's seeing that, and he's going, wow, any minor thing, I've got to take you because I need you so much for this, for these next 2. Yeah. But again, it's a bit of a weird time to do it. If he was going to sub Gyökeres, you'd see it in the 60th, 65th, that normal time. Because the game, or maybe Neil, he's looked at it, gone 2-0. They haven't had a touch of the ball in our half. Game's over. Let's just change it out. Maybe he's looked to that. But I mean, it doesn't take anything away from like you said, what a terrific first half performance it was from him. I mean, he hasn't got an assist yet for Arsenal, I don't believe, and I mean, I solely blame Bukayo Saka for that now, because he put 2 on a plate for Saka in this game. And I do agree with you. I think the second one is a good save from the keeper. The first one, he's got to put that away. He's got a lot of time before the defender comes sliding in to pick his spot. I don't think it's a particularly great finish from him. He's kind of hit it straight at the keeper and gone down there. And I think he should do. He should do a lot better there, Saka, really. He's not got a ton of open playing goals recently, Saka, and he needs to start. I know he got one in midweek against Brighton, but he needs to start firing them for me, because he's our talisman up there, and we need you to start. We're the one. You're the one that we can rely upon to have really good output, So I was a little frustrated by that, because I thought Gyökeres' link-up play was so good, And I mean, the first goal, Neil, it comes from good play from Trossard and Calafiori down the left that sort of touches it out for a corner, doesn't it? And then we hadn't really created a ton up until that point, from what I remember. But again, it's all about. I mean, a lot of the time, Neil, it's not. We've got a lot of options from these set pieces, but a lot of the time it is. Rice and Gabriel are the keys to it. It's so good deliveries from Rice. I mean, there was a couple after this in the first half that were probably better deliveries that Dubravka was just all over the place for. He didn't know what to do with them. It was basically just putting it right under the goalposts, under the bar. Brilliant delivery. I mean, it's so good. And Gabriel probably annoyed from last week's assist being ruled out for what we don't even know what reason it was, do we? I don't know why he didn't get it, but he gets it. It's a lovely volley as well. It's a lovely little volley to Gyökeres, and I feel like a lot of Gyökeres' goals have been like that. But that's what you want your striker to do, isn't it?
I don't care how he scores, mate. The point is, this is what we were missing. You were saying it. You were saying that there were times where we could have dominated. We were dominating games, and we just didn't have someone to finish it. And we've got that person now, hopefully, in Gyökeres. And I just love the fact that Gabriel is just such a menace in these situations. I think defenders and attackers and midfielders, whoever's in the box for the opposition, are genuinely scared. I think they are genuine. They're probably thinking, oh, God, don't give these people a chance with a set piece or a corner near the goal mouth. They probably are. And they are so scared of that happening. And then I think that causes a sense of panic because he's always involved somehow. And even yesterday, for me yesterday, he's involved again. It seemed a bit messy, to be fair. It was chaos because the delivery is so good. And I didn't know quite what happened when I saw it first time. I mean, I knew anyway because I was listening to it on the audio and then you guys were saying, and then it was an assist play, so I knew. But if I was watching that live, I wouldn't have known what happened. And Gabriel's in there again. And it was actually, I didn't realise. I thought initially he'd got a head to it, but it wasn't. It was a volley. Yeah. And it was quite a tight angle. It was right on the post and it was quite a tight angle. So, nicely done. And Gyökeres is there to put it in. All right, fine. Anyone in that position probably would have found it fairly straightforward, but it doesn't matter. It's the fact that he's in the right place at the right time and he's converted it. And it's just brilliant that we've got Rice on that side, Saka on the other side, who can put in good deliveries into the box. And we can convert them. So this is another record: 10 Prem games, 8 goals scored from corners. That is a clear Premiership record. That's how good we are at these set pieces, which is fantastic. But I just want to also mention not just Calafiori, but also Timber and their attack mindedness, if you like. I don't know if you saw that photo I sent, which was taken on Match of the Day. So you got shots on target, you got XG, and I think passes in the box.
Touches in the opposition box.
Touches in the box. That's the opposition box.
Yeah, and then the top 5 or 6, aren't they?
And Calafiori and Timber are in the top 5 in all 3 categories. Gyökeres, interestingly, is top in all of them. Yeah. So those people who have been thinking that what is he and why did we spend money on him? Well, there's your answer. But I love the fact that Calafiori and Timber are up there. And it just goes to show that this defence, although it's so damn tight and not leaking nothing and not giving anything away, is as equally as good in attack. Especially with the left backs and the right back that we have. The goal, the corner, the first goal, if you look at it, it's Calafiori that kind of creates it. It doesn't touch the ball, but he's there, causing the defender, giving him a headache, forcing it to go out for a corner. And I think he did that 2 or 3 times. The other 2 that you said were good deliveries from Rice? I think a lot of that was revolved around Calafiori. And if you looked at where he was again, a lot of the times in these build-ups to some of these attacks, where is he? He's in the centre forward position. Yeah. The man is unbelievable, Jack. You're talking at the top of this podcast. I'm a bit worried and concerned about our attack. Mate, we've got our number 9 right there.
Yeah.
Keep saying
Move him anyway.
Stick him up front. He'll play there. Put MLS back in the position of left back. So, but no, it's great to see. It's great to see Gyökeres score, and it's great to see us convert another great corner.
It's one of those games again, which I can't actually remember the shot on target that's being claimed on Google. If you look on BBC, they say they didn't have no shot on target and only 3 total shots. I can't remember the shot on target now I come to think of it. So it may well be another game where the other opposition team, I think there might be 3 out of our 10 Premier League games where opposition team has not had a shot on target. So, I mean, that's quite incredible. Those kind of stats, I don't remember talking much about those types of stats, like ever in the past. Where I'm like, oh, other team didn't have I remember sort of marginally talking about other teams not really creating much, but just be like no shot hit, on target of our goal. I know they hit the post in the last second, a free kick that shouldn't have existed in my opinion, because the game should have been done about 2 minutes prior to it, but there's enough about Kavanagh. But yeah, I mean, Neil, yeah, again, Gabriel's fantastic. I mean, he's just such a menace. He's so commanding in his defensive box. And he's so difficult to handle in the opposing box. It's just incredible, and he's such a leader back there. Saliba obviously is fantastic, but he's 4 or 5 years young, maybe a little bit less, maybe 4 years younger. But and we remember what Gabriel was like 4 years younger. He was a little rash. He had a little moments where but he's such a leader back there now. He's so important to everything we do, and he's just aerially so dominant. Even when obviously we get the first goal, and Gyökeres is kind of not embarrassed to celebrate, but he wants to thank Declan Rice at the same time, which was quite sweet. And like you said, any way striker goals come, unbelievable. And it's interesting because I'm watching people and they're putting other strikers into teams of the season so far and stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm actually quite happy with the way Victor Gyökeres is progressing. When I see games like this where his link-up play is so good and his ability to connect with other wingers is so good, his overall play plus getting goals, that excites me. It doesn't really matter what team he's coming up against. So it just shows that he's improved a lot. And I think what's really improved from him, and you saw this from Marino in the second half, is his pressing and his fitness, because I think we dropped off massively up top. In the second half, his movement, Marino's, was really lacking. I don't think his hold-up play was particularly good, other than one nice little flick to Odegaard, who had a shot towards the end of the game. I thought Marino was quite poor in this game, but I think it also highlighted, how much we miss Gyökeres when he wasn't on the pitch. And I would be frustrated to have to go back to, after all the signings and everything we've done, to have to go back to Marino as our centre forward option. He did a really tremendous job for us last season, but to get to that point again would be just like frustrating, in terms of how we've built the squad. So we definitely saw that. I think that was the biggest drop off we saw in the second half. Obviously we took our foot off the gas, but I think Gyökeres going off was a big attacking drop off, because he was so important in that first half. So good. I mean, his link up, his key passes, he only had 17 touches, but what he did in terms of his movement and his and how big he was in terms of the big chances we created was really, really good. The second goal, Neil, he was involved again, but what's great about it is it comes on a transition from their set piece, and that's what was really, obviously Burnley, that's what's great, is when you're so good defensively, other teams, when they get their own set piece, whether it's a throw in or they're going to overcommit a little bit, because that's the attacking chance and moment for them. And Declan Rice really outlined it really well after the game. His quote was really interesting. I think I saved it somewhere. It was a really interesting quote, but he basically said, we really need to take these opportunities. He said, special goal, because the whole sequence of play, I think my goal might be looked at in terms of the run and how I headed it, but we defended a long throw, big Gabby's head out, which was unbelievable. And then we've broken on the whole team reacts to a situation. He said, when teams play so deep, these are the best moments to score, when they're actually open. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because they sit so deep. Even when you're 1-0 up, they just fall back so deep. We play against the deepest lines in Europe. That's proven. We have the highest line in Europe as well. That's been proven, certainly within the league. And I thought it was a great transition goal, and Gyökeres, Trossard and obviously Rice all played their part, but I was really happy with the way the goal happened. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, and as you just said there, who starts it in defending? Gabriel, again. It's everywhere, isn't he, in terms of commanding both boxes. That's what I love. He commands both. He's not just thinking, well, I'm only a defender, why should I worry about what's happening at the other end? Oh my God, I don't know what to say about him, because I think, to be fair, as much as we have praised Saka for holding this team together for 4 or 5 years now, which he has, there's no doubt about it. He's the one that has given us credibility when we were at our lowest ebbs, those 2 seasons where we finished 8th consecutively, under Emery. Initially it was him and Emile Smith-Rowe, and probably, to be fair, a little bit of Martinelli as well when he first started. We were reliant on him so much for giving us a bit of credibility, and what could have been even a worse season than it was could you imagine if they weren't there or Saka wasn't there. But I think recently, for me, I think one of the most important players, if not the most important, has become Gabriel. I really believe it. Because like you said, Saliba probably at one stage was the main man. But the last, I'd say, 18 months, would you say? Maybe a year at least? It's going to be Gabriel for me because of how he has matured as a leader, as you said. And I think that's the key thing. But look, he starts it, and I love the fact that it's one of those ones. It reminded me of the good old days when even Alan Hansen said that he's never seen football played better, when we used to transition within. They used to time it. I remember they did this thing on, I don't know whether it was Match of the Day, and they timed our transitions from one end to the other. They gave a few examples, and some went 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 11 seconds. Incredible. And it reminded me of that so much, that we were defending, and all of a sudden, bang, it leads to a goal for us. But Gabriel starts it, but I think it was Saka that then has a touch to Gyökeres. And Gyökeres, no, look, I'm going to say he meant it, all right? I'm going to say we have to.
I mean, it's a great ball either way.
It's just so beautiful, isn't it, to watch? It's like just watching poetry on a football pitch. So beautiful. But then, look, fair play to Trossard. He also collects it, and he looks up, and he delivers a great pass to the oncoming Declan Rice, who also motored all the way from one end of the pitch to the other. And it's just a solid, very commanding header for me. And that's what I think he is so capable of doing, and I'd like to see him do more of it. If he plays in that way, in that manner, where he's motoring up and down the pitch, has a fantastic engine on him. If he can sustain that for a good part of the season, I think we'll see more goals from him. And he's always said that, hasn't he, that he'd like to score more goals. But when he does them, they're so commanding. When I see a goal like that from Declan Rice, as we've seen in the past, Jack, I always think, why can't he do more of this? Because he's so damn good at it. We've always missed Odegaard from doing these things, because Odegaard used to do it. Odegaard, if he wants to, can hit a really good shot. It's almost like a passing shot with Odegaard. It's more about placement and accuracy with him, but he can do it. And I see Declan Rice doing these things. I always think to myself, why can't he do this more often, or at least more consistently? So I was so pleased for him. I was so pleased for him. But I was pleased again for Gyökeres. He was being involved, and for Trossard, who gets an assist for his 100th appearance, which was a nice little touch for him too. So yeah, 2-0, and I thought, right, that's it. I wasn't worried even at 1-0. And like I said in the last podcast, I'm not worried anymore when we go 1-0, because I think we're so tight at the back. It's very unusual. It's going to take something special to breach us. Reyes has had nothing to do in the last 5 games, Jack. It's 2 or 3 shots on target in 5. This is not normal, Jack. Come on, you've played football at a very good level. You've been involved in football pretty much all your life. You must think to yourself, a goalkeeper, a professional goalkeeper at the highest level in the world, has faced in one hand, you've got 5 fingers, 4 fingers and a thumb. I don't think he's faced 5 shots in the last 5 games. That's ridiculous. And when he's called upon, he takes action.
Yeah.
So to sit there, you must be thinking, I'm just sitting there, I'm just watching a football game. He's no different to a fan, literally, if you think about it. I don't know what to say about this defence. If you breach that defence, which is going to take some taking, then you've got a world-class goalkeeper to back that up behind them. Unbelievable stuff, mate.
Yeah, no, he is fantastic, and he's able to hopefully stay focused in those moments because, like you said, there isn't a lot to do, but there may even one or two times, and we really need him. So, and so far he's been a revelation since he's come in. I think I don't know how many clean sheets that is so far in the Premier League this season, but in terms of like Golden Glove and things like that, we should. Well, I'm sure he's in the lead, so we'll see how it goes there. But I mean, at half time, it was a perfect half, but the only frustration would be, we probably left one or two goals on the table. I mean, two big misses from Saka, which would have been good assists from Gyökeres. There was a lovely little dinked assist from Zubimendi to Trossard, who I think has basically a tap-in, but because it's in mid-air, I think he's going to get clattered. I think he thinks he's going to get clattered by a defender, and he kind of pulls his leg back. And I was annoyed with Trossard there. I thought if you had acres of space, you could have taken the ball down and just passed it into the net. Easier said than done, of course. But I think he pulls away from it because he thinks he's getting clattered from a big 6-foot defender. But it's an amazing ball from Zubimendi. I mean, just really, a pass that not many midfielders would see. I don't think it was just a really terrific ball. So I mean, but other than that, very comfortable. Even for me, I was thinking, I'm pretty comfortable here, 2-0 against Burnley at half time. But I didn't sort of, feel fully comfortable. And I mean, I wouldn't say the second half gave me nervy moments, but obviously we had the change from Gyökeres and Mikel Merino come on, who I don't think had one of his better games, to be honest. Maybe it might be the first time that he's truly played up front for us for a while. So maybe that's a mild excuse. I think he has been coming on and basically been playing in the sort of attacking midfield Rice role or as a second striker or something like that. But we didn't give up a lot. They had a cross late on that was a header over the bar, which was pretty poorly defended long ball from us, I would say. Got a little bit lucky that the player got underneath it. Then obviously they had the free kick in the last minute that I don't think should really have gone. I think the game should have been gone by then. But I think Ethan Nwaneri, when he came on, Neil, out of all the subs, because obviously Hincapié came on and Marino came on and Norgard came on, but out of all the subs, I thought Nwaneri was bright, really bright on the ball. We weren't really going gung-ho like we were in the first half. So it was a hard game for him to get into, a lot of off-the-ball work for him. But I thought on the ball, he looked really good, some really nice touches. And I do like how direct he is. When he gets to the edge of the box, he wants to shoot. He wants to score, which is a little bit different from Odegaard, who's so selfless, almost too selfless sometimes, when he gets in those positions more than anyone. But I was impressed with Nwaneri because, again, I think he may play a little bit this week because we've got so little rotation. May need to start him even in midweek, maybe. So it was good. I mean, obviously got a goal in midweek against Brighton. Not played as many minutes, a bit like Lewis Skelly than perhaps he would have hoped after, signing his new deal and having a sort of breakout season last season. But, with squads like this, we are going to need them, Neil. We're going to need Nwaneri. We're going to need Lewis Skelly. These are top players, even though they're young, they're top players. And they just got to keep plugging away and putting in performances like that. Because I was actually quite impressed with him when he came on.
Yeah, I wish. This is where I'm going to fall a bit flat because I've only got to see the highlights of the match. They literally did nothing on the second half. But I will say, he had a shot, didn't he, as well, which was just wide, I think, which is a typical Nwaneri kind of traditional kind of thing he does. I'm guessing it is he worked it onto his left foot and took a shot, and it was just wide. That's what I'm thinking. But James got it right, didn't he? He got the Brighton prediction spot on. He said 2-0 Nwaneri, and that was an open play goal, was it not? And it was a really good goal. I think for me, I wish I'd seen more of him in the second half. But I think with him, this is the problem with me and Nwaneri. I just think that he's a quality player, Jack. But because of the people we've got in before him, is he going to get enough time for us to really realise how good a player he is? That is my concern. It's very easy for us to say and us to want and expect that you show up when you do get your chances in maybe situations like this, where maybe we're a little bit short up front or in the midfield, in situations where you're going to play in the League Cup. I'm so glad for that reason that we did progress, because it will give these fringe players more of a chance. But I think for someone like Ethan, my feeling is he's got to play consistently. for him to improve. Well, I guess that goes with anyone really, but especially with him, he's got to get game in after game out all the time and be involved for us to really see what he can do. And I think if he does get that chance, then we're going to see a very capable player. Whether he plays in the Odegaard role or he plays in a different position near the top, I just think that we need to see, or he needs more game time. And if he gets like these bit part chances, I don't know if we're going to see the best of him. I don't know. But yes, I did hear that he was very bright when he came on. That's because he's hungry. James said it perfectly. He goes, he really wants to play. And he did it. He came on, started for Brighton, got the goal. It was a great goal as well, but that was a really lovely goal by the whole team. Open play, by the way, people. Open play. Don't forget that. But so that I'm actually a little bit worried for him. I think Dowerman, or Doberman as I could like to call him, he's so young. I think he's too special. There's something very special about him. I don't think it's going to be very long before we see him feature quite regularly. I think 15 is a bit too young, but certainly when he gets maybe in a year's time, next season for sure, I think this guy's going to be featuring. He's going to be one of these. He picks himself players. I've got that impression about him. He's a magical. You say it all the time, Jack. He's a silly player. But with Ethan, I don't know, and it's worrying me because I know he's a fantastic player. He needs more game time. I don't know what you think, but I think he needs more game time. You're on mute, mate.
Sorry.
Mute.
Sorry. Rookie mistake. In pre-season, I had this constant debate with James that I felt the only way for us to sign Eze was to loan Wanyeri out, because I don't think we're going to be able to sign him by signing Eze. And I said, if we do sign him, we need to do it before we sign Eze, because otherwise I don't think we'll be able to convince him, because I don't think he's going to see the pathway. And it turns out that is what we did. We signed him up, and then we signed Eze when he was already signed up. And I think, like you, if he's getting quite limited minutes at this point when Odegaard's out, then you have to be quite concerned about if we ever have a fully fit squad. There may be squads that he doesn't make. I hate to say it, but there may be squad. You may be sitting there going, well, we've got Odegaard in the team, Eze's on the bench, or vice versa, and we've also got Madueke back in the team and Havertz back in the team. That's our other two attackers that are on the bench now as well. So we don't need. Certainly Dowman would probably drop out because he's 15, but you may drop out one or two more there as well. Hopefully not, but again, he is getting limited minutes at the time. At the moment, I was impressed by him. I wasn't actually particularly that impressed by him in midweek, other than the goal. I thought he had a very good goal, but I don't think he played particularly great in midweek. But in this game, I thought he played a lot better. But again, like you, I am a little concerned. I think what he's got to do, Neil, is I think he's got to make himself more versatile, really, because what it looks like he's done is he's limited himself to one position in Arteta's eyes, which is that creative role. That if he can open himself up to maybe being a wide player again, or maybe being the left 8 when when we need a goal, as opposed to bringing on Marino every time or something like that, that would increase his minutes a little bit. But at the moment, it looks very much like from his pre-season that he's gone, don't think he's a winger for me. Mikel Arteta's pretty adamant on that, to the point where he's actually played Dowman ahead of him on the wing, because we've seen that. I think Liverpool away, for example, Dowman came on ahead of him in other games as well. So I think he needs, because there's not a lot of attacking players that we have that can't play in more than one position. You maybe say Gyökeres, but he's your centre forward, But other than that, if you think about Trossard and Martinelli, they all kind of fold into different positions. Saka can play in a lot, Madueke left, right, supposedly. So they get a lot of minutes that way from being versatile as well. I think that's where he needs to fight. He needs to be like, I need to prove to him. And I think that last 5 minutes where he lost the ball, and although we were very eager, I want to see a little bit more eagerness from him specifically to go, because I think it is the off-the-ball stuff that would concern Mikel Arteta the most with him. Do you have the intensity off the ball that an Odegaard has for me to really trust you to have more minutes? And I think he's got to learn that quick. But he's only, to be fair, even Eze is going through that sort of learning period. Like, you can see in some games he is absolutely exhausted, not because of what he's doing on the ball, because of how much work he's having to put in off the ball to almost mimic what Odegaard does in terms of his relentless pressing. And I don't think Eze will ever get to that level, to be honest, because it's not his game. He's a bit more off the cuff, he's a bit more flary, whereas Odegaard's like this sort of creative player with a huge intensity off the ball, which is pretty rare. Like, you don't get a lot of those, you know. I heard Cesc Fabregas earlier in the week talking about, number 10s are like dead, but these are the players that you live to watch. And I'm like, they're not really. What they are required now to do is to be sort of selfless off the ball and to be able to be, you know, a huge part of the team off the ball. And you never got that from Ozil and stuff like that. And those types of number 10s are dead because, no, you can't take passengers in teams anymore. It's just too intense everywhere on the pitch. But you can still have that creative spot. You just got to be able to do, and that's where Odegaard's brilliant, really. I think he's humble enough to say, I'm going to be the hardest worker in the room. And that's not always the case with the best technical player, which I believe he is, you know. So, yeah, I think a long way round is, I have your same concerns a little bit with Ranieri. You know, where's his minutes coming from? At the moment, he's fine because there's so many injuries. But, you know, when players come back, the likes of Saka and Gyökeres, they'll still get plenty of minutes. But you'd look at Ranieri as being one like, I'm not seeing you getting many, to be honest, unless you're pinging one top bins for, you know, in the last 20 minutes that you're popping on at the moment. I'm not sure you're getting it. You know, like, Eze's going to play so much because he can play the Odegaard role, but he can also play left wing, and he's probably, in my opinion, still my first choice at the left wing, to be honest. So, like, he's going to get so many minutes that way because he can play those two important roles, you know. I think that's where he needs to get to. He can get there, though. He's only 18. But I think there is a congestion around that right side that's coming, isn't there? You know, the Ranieri, the Saka, the Dowman, and everything else in between. Something's going to give there in about 12 to 18 months. We don't quite know how it's going to, but not all of those players are going to flourish at Arsenal. They're not. It's fine. It's a good position to be in. You know, all you want is them under contract and being able to, you know, if you have to sell one, you can sell them for actual money. Like, you know, that's the biggest concern. But I mean, do you have any concerns with? Obviously, we have concerns with our injuries. I mean, I had a data stat here which said that out of other than Gyökeres, Saka's played the most percentage of minutes out of all the other attackers this season, and he's been out for 40% of it.
Jesus.
So, like, Trossard's played 58%, Eze 57%, Madueke 38%, Martinelli only 27%. I know he's been on the bench for long. Odegaard 25%. Our captain, I mean, he's a starter every time. Havertz 4%. Jesus 0%. It's just not, that is not sustainable. We have to be able to get one or two of those back. And I know they're being cautious on them, but it does feel like now I'm like watching it going, we've got to start seeing one or two of these back. These weren't long-term injuries, and you know, I'm getting a bit impatient with it because we keep losing players, you know, and he has to find a balance there and not risk players. Obviously, you can't risk Havertz because he's had 2 injuries in a row, surgeries, etc. Jesus for me is probably still pretty far away, but Madueke I'll be looking at going, are we ready yet? Are we close? It's been 6 weeks, I think, since his little knee tweak, little MCL tweaks. Like, surely you got to be on the grass now, got to be working with the ball, got to be maybe close to full training, you know. And he was such a good outlet for us, wasn't he? I mean, in this game, when you were watching it going, I'd love a Madueke for the last 30. Just what a great outlet he'd be, dribbling at tired defenders. And that is frustrating because I know he didn't get any goals or assists, but he was probably our best attacker when he got injured. He probably was our best attacker. I remember when he went off against City being like,
he was,
you know, and obviously we had just got Saka back at that point, so it was okay. But it was like, kind of, Madueke was the biggest outlet in the first half. He was the one that was creating everything. So it'll be really helpful to get a couple of those attackers back and just, you know, fill the attacking depth with what we actually bought over the summer and make it look like we want it to look, you know, in terms of being able to rotate those players, because games are just relentless and they're going to be, I mean, he's probably looking at it going, you know, after end of November it goes mental, doesn't it? You know, the Christmas period and stuff like that. So obviously it's going to get worse in terms of intensity. So there is a point where you need them more, I guess. But I am at the point now that I'm like, oh, you cannot rotate anyone. You've just got the same front three just rolling out every week, and it's just mental. Any concerns of the drop-off in the second half? You know, the little bit of not rustiness, the little bit of sloppiness. Because Arteta said, you know, we're with lots of areas to improve based on our second half performance. Or do you think, you know, that's just playing 2-0 football like we should play 2-0 football, off, you know, giving them the ball a little bit because we're so comfortable without it? Whereas last season we played a lot of 2-0 football at 1-0, and that's why we had what was it, 14 games or no, something stupid where we'd given away leads.
Oh yeah.
So I was almost watching it going, well, at least we're playing it at 2-0. You know, we're not playing it at 1-0, and that's important.
No concerns just yet. It's too. We're too dominant at the moment for me to have concerns. We really are, Jack. I can't. There's no way I can say that. Oh God, I'm really worried that, you know, are we going to start doing that repeat of last season where we suffered so many draws, which essentially cost us the title? Not yet. No. If we start seeing games of that nature and we start dropping points, then yes. And if it can be directly attributed to the fact that we have got a thin front line again, where we made all these signings, then yes, then there'll be concerns. But it hasn't happened yet, and touch wood, it will not happen. Touch wood, Gyökeres is only a precautionary thing or a rest thing, and he will be back. Although, you know, the muscle thing has been mentioned. But yeah, like you, it's a worry in the sense. It's not a worry in the sense that it's affected our results yet, but it's a worry for me that we've got arguably, not arguably, on paper the best forward lineup in the Prem, I believe now, in terms of who we've got and the variety and the diversity in the sense of how each of them play, but we can't choose from them. And that's, for me, is the frustration. Can you imagine if we had almost, or if not a full-strength squad, but near as damn it to one? Can you imagine all the options we could have had in all the games that we played so far? So the fact that we probably were a couple of goals short yesterday might not have been the case if we could have had different players to choose from. That, for me, is the frustration at the moment. That, God, we finally got, in my opinion, a team where I don't feel we're short. I mean, we can't still choose from them because of flipping injuries. What is going on with these injuries, Jack? Something's got... other teams don't suffer like this. Other teams don't have, we're playing one game and we'll lose a play. It's almost like a given. It feels like a given to me, Jack, that we have one game and who's going to go off today? Who's going to suffer an injury and we're not going to see them for 2-3 months? We can't do that. We can't have this in our football club. And the only thing that I can think of is there's something in the training which isn't right. I don't know. I'm not professional in these things. I don't know. But you, as a fan, you start thinking about what is causing it. Why is it happening all the time? Is it the way we play football? Is it the twists and the bends and the turns that we do that maybe make it more susceptible? I don't know what it is, but I'm sure all Premiership footballers have to do that at this level. So it doesn't, or are we just unlucky all the time? Is it something of it's just fate that we are inflicted with this bollocks? I don't know. That it is that for me is a concern, but at the moment it hasn't affected our results as yet. But you're right, we cannot sustain it. Can you imagine if Saka goes off again? What are we going to do? Who are we going to choose from?
Well, no, and the worry there, Neil, is I thought I was frustrated with him today. Actually, in the second half, it was very poor, with a couple of touches that allowed a few of their attacks. But he's playing more than you want him to, really. And it sounds crazy to say that, but he's played so much over the last few years that the first game he came back, he came on at half-time against City because of Madueke's injury, and then basically just played every 90 minutes, roughly. Since then, I know we rested him in midweek, but he still came on. But and that's the frustration again, because that's what caused him to get into that position in the first place. I mean, the reason Saka and Havertz are where they are is over a couple of years of overburdening them, really. And you don't want to be able to do that again. But in terms of squad depth, he's done all he can. So yeah, you have to look at, training and things like that, and our players telling you stuff like we spoke offline about. I never like it when Odegaard twice this season has had an injury and tried to play through it for like 10 to 15 minutes, which doesn't help the injury at all. I know one of them was an upper body injury, but it's not helping it. It's probably delaying your recovery in the long run, especially on that like knee injury that he had where he opened up his knee joint. Physio's probably aware of that at that point. Just be like, get him off, or to take it out of the player's hands, because every player, I know this from working with athletes every day, no one's going to say they want to come off unless something's really obvious, a bone sticking out of their leg. No one wants to come off at the elite level. They just do not. They want to play on. So when it's something, you just take it out of their hands, get off. We've got players right behind you now. Let's take you off and get you back a week or two sooner or something like that. But you're right. With the contact injuries, like the Odegaard ones, not much you can do about it. It's just unlucky. But with all these repetitive ones, the muscular ones and things like that, I think we've got to be looking at every single avenue. Because I agree with you. We do get more, and we always get them in clusters in the same area of the pitch. It's never spread out. Like last season, it was all the attackers. A few seasons before that, it was all the defenders. Again, this season, it's all the attackers. So frustrating, so annoying. And I think for us, because we've been through it before, I mean, everyone's had a bad season with injuries, but we've so recently been through it before that you're looking at it going, there has to be a way to improve this, because it's not sustainable to be able to continue to win with this amount of injuries. I mean, it has cost us, because away at Liverpool, no one talks about it, but away at Liverpool, we had no Odegaard, we had no Saka, we had no Havertz, who at the time were, Odegaard and Saka still are, but Havertz was so much more important to us than Gyökeres at that time, because Gyökeres wasn't fit. He was nowhere near as strong as he is now. He was basically in his pre-season at that point, wasn't he, Neil, like you mentioned? And then we lost Saliba after 5 minutes. I mean, these are huge players. That is the equivalent of having no Van Dijk, no Salah, right? No central striker, so no Ekitike, and then none of their creative player.
And no one mentions it.
No one says it. I mean, no one says it. And it really affects us, because people, like you said, you're watching Liverpool and you go, how did we not create more against them? Well, that was one of the reasons. But the other reason was, I mean, Liverpool, the only time I've ever seen them not really attack was against us. I mean, against everyone else, they're kamikaze ball all the way, kamikaze FC. Against us, they basically set up and they created less than us in that whole game. They scored a worldie and they'll look. They looked at it at that time on top of the world, winning every game, going, oh, but I remember looking at it going, that 1-0 could have gone either way, easily. And we've had games like that we benefit from it as well in the past, but again, it was the media narrative from that was, that's what champions do, Liverpool overpowered them, this, that and the other. But if you watch the game, that was a toss-up game, really. It was a nothing game. And also,
to be fair to Slot, he did say that. That is one time I've actually thought, he's spoken quite well in a post-game interview. He was honest. He said, to be honest, either team could have gone either way, and it just so happened that the moment of magic came for us today. But he said quite easily that could have gone either way, the results. So to be fair to him, forget what the punt, everything everyone else says, he did actually admit that. So that was the one time we thought, actually, you're being honest. So fair play.
Fair play, yeah. And then he became delusional after his first loss. But then the other thing with that, Neil, was they were really riding sort of a crest of a wave as well at that point, because they just won the league, and then they started the season with all these sort of last minute winners. That was, they were 100% record at that point, weren't they? They hadn't drawn a game or anything. It reminded me, I mean, I don't know, but do you remember our Invincible season? And then the season after the Invincible season was the best I'd ever seen. Like, it was so exciting. I think first day of the season we went to like Everton away and we pummeled them like 4 or 5. And I remember it was just Reyes, Bergkamp, Henry, and I was just like, we are so smooth here. It was just like we were just on top of the world. And then we had that one loss, and it all crumbled. Well, that loss was a joke. It was completely fixed. But the reaction to that was really poor from the collective. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was like, oh, we hadn't lost for so long that we didn't. Not that Liverpool have had, but they hadn't really. it was like, oh, we don't know really how to respond to that. And we had a really bad run after that. I think we couldn't get a win for a while, and the season kind of pittered out. I'm not saying, well, I hope that's what's happening with Liverpool, but I'm not saying that. But so when we played them, it was at that point of the high point as well. So it was very different to what we've seen in the last month with them, when they've all their vulnerabilities have kind of come to fruition almost. But I mean, is there any concern, with the lack of sort of conceding goals? It's so fantastic. Is there any concern that you get sort of too fixated on that as a collective? Like, again, it's not going to last forever. You're going to concede, of course, and you have to be able to sort of respond to that and go, hey, we're out here to win a game. You're going to concede sometimes because it's such a high level, and we've got this record, or we're going for this record. So many clean sheets, etc. 3 goals conceded in 15, like you said. Any concerns with that it becomes like a sort of stigma thing?
Yeah, I for me, yes. This one I will agree with you in terms of concern of the question. I don't want to get hung up on any of this, because for me it's just about winning games. I don't, to say that. I mean, it's wonderful if we can go for the rest of the season conceding less than 10 goals and having like the fewest number of shots on target ever in a football league. Oh, great! Of course you'll take it, but that's not the goal. That's not our aim. The mission is to win the Premiership. So if these things come out as a result of as a byproduct, I'll take it. Everyone would know. All of us would take it with both hands. But I wouldn't want to get hung up on the fact that, oh no, we conceded a goal today. Like our next game, oh damn, we conceded 2 goals today. Don't get hung up on it. If we get the results and we get the wins and we play well, and football that's football. The best teams ever will concede goals. It's just the way, the nature of the game. We cannot let ourselves get hung up. If we start conceding and then it starts becoming a regular occurrence, that'll be more of a concern than any blooming record for me. I just want them to be consistent, play with the attitude they've been playing, keep a tight defence, be frugal back there. Yes, we are. Are we going to concede any more goals? Of course we are. It's football, mate. Of course we're going to concede goals. Don't get hung up on it. I wouldn't want any fan to think about, let's hope we don't. It's not even become conceding goals. It's about shots on target. Jesus, stop it. It's not. If we're going to get teams that are going to come at us and are going to have shots on target, for goodness sake. So let's not worry about that too much. Let's just worry about getting results. Let's worry about having our players who are injured back on the pitch and playing football. There, for me, are the 2 major things. I'm not going to get hung up on these records. If they come as a byproduct, great. Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah, no, agree with you. Yeah, we shouldn't get. I love the collective togetherness and desire not to concede, and that 85th minute run back, and even when they hit the post from the free kick, Norgard drops to his knees because the whistle goes, and they're like, really excited the fact that didn't go in, and I think you do have to be like that. I think you have to treat defending like a huge passionate. Yeah, that was my weakness. I was one of those flair players, and I never attributed myself to really the defensive side of the game. I didn't have that love for it, like Gabriel has. You can tell he just loves defending. He loves it. I mean, he loves it more than scoring. He really genuinely does. And you need those players are invaluable. You can't really put a price on them because they're so excited by defending and keeping those high standards. So I love
Gabriel's,
that.
Sorry to drop it, but Gabriel's always been like that. Have you noticed him in the early days? They would stop a goal and he'd celebrate like he'd scored. Remember, It was always him.
Yeah, it's a bit American football-ish, that is, actually, because in England, it's kind of thought of as, you celebrate a goal. But I'm sure other players have done it, but he really sort of brought, that sort of desire and sort of celebration to defend his last-ditch tackle or, stopping a goal on the goal line. He would cheer it in the same way. And I actually really like that because I really like that standard that he's trying to collectively bring to everyone, to be like, you have to want it this much. You have to want to not let anything go into your goal this much, because you're not going to get anywhere without those sort of standards, and he's really the one that sort of glues it all together for me. But like you said, I mean, the fullbacks have been brilliant this year. I think when you watch, it's really interesting. Thought Hincapié had a really interesting performance in midweek, played at centre back. I'm actually quite curious to see now whether we start to use him. When he came on today, Neil, he came on because Lewis Skelly come on today? He did, but not until the 90th minute. So Hincapié came on for Gabriel today, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so, in the 70th. So again, that's a left back appearance for him for 20 minutes before Lewis Skelly, because Lewis Skelly came on in the 90th minute. I can't even remember who it was for at that point. But that's interesting. I just wonder if he did. He came on for Hincapié in the 72nd, and then Lewis Skelly just came on for Trossard in the 91st, which was probably just to shore up the defence, really. So he's not really. So I wonder if Hincapié's starting to just edge himself into that left back slot,
maybe,
because he spoke about him so glowingly in midweek, didn't he? I mean, it sounds like him and Heinze are going to be like really good connect, because they seem like similar players to me. Heinze was like, obviously South American link and all that sort of stuff, but he looks so intense on and off the ball. Hincapié, really intense, and I think he mimics a lot of the sort of attributes in terms of going forward that maybe a Calafiori has. So I wonder what that might be. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe if we might repurpose, because we couldn't in midweek we couldn't repurpose Lewis Skelly because we didn't have the numbers. So Hincapié, if we wanted to rest Gabriel and Saliba, who wasn't fit, we had to kind of shift everything to the point where they both played. I want to see a game where they have to select one or the other, and what happens there. That'll be quite interesting. Maybe midweek is that, Neil. So we've got
might be
Slavia Prague in midweek, early game Tuesday, so not a big turnaround, and obviously it's in Prague, and we're going to have to rotate a little bit there. Certainly we're going to have to rotate Zubimendi. Hopefully we don't have to rotate Gyökeres. I think we really need him, to be honest, especially on that second half showing. So we may rotate more than we think there, but it's such an important game still, because we've got Bayern and Inter to come, in the Champions League. So there's some really tough games to come, and you want to get yourself into that top 8. I don't think it necessarily matters too much where you are in that top 8, but you want to make sure you're in the top 8, because I don't think it does really, because it could do. Obviously, if you're higher up, you're more likely to get a worse team. But again, with that sort of playoff stuff that goes on, you could end up facing. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool they finished top or second last year in the group, and they ended up facing PSG, didn't they, and getting knocked out in the first round. So it's difficult. Ideally you finish high up, but what's your predictions, Neil? Prague, Slavia Prague in midweek, Tuesday early game, and then Sunderland away on Saturday, and they have a very good record at home, and they've had a fantastic season so far, to be honest. That's going to be a really tough game as well. So what's your predictions?
I agree that there's going to has to be some changes. I don't know where Martinelli is. Do you know where he's with his injury?
So he pulled up with a groin issue right at the end of the last Premier League game, who was against Palace, sorry. I didn't even see it, but then I watched back, and he's kind of obviously going with the physio. But it was right at the end of the game, I believe, that he pulled up. And the only thing I know is groin injuries aren't ones to necessarily quickly clear up. But the hope would be that it was more sort of, tightness than a strain. But he's been out for a week. So now you're starting to think it's more of a strain, because if it was tightness, he'd probably be back. So I don't know. It would be an absolute joy to see him travel in midweek. I'd be like so happy.
Yeah.
But I don't expect it.
So who can we change? God. It's really the midfield, isn't it?
Do you think he plays Norgard? Do you think he plays Norgard instead of Zubimendi, or do you think he just drops Rice back?
I don't know what you thought of Norgard. He came on for a bit, didn't he?
He looked okay today. In midweek in the first half, we were very open against Brighton with him there. But again,
it's such an important game, right?
Yeah. Such a changed lineup. We've not really seen Norgard with the collective first team. It was 10 changes in midweek. So that was the case for everyone, really. Yeah.
And it's difficult, isn't it? We just don't know. I think... I don't know. I don't know how the changes are going to work. I wish I had a bit more insight on it. But defensively, I think we're probably going to be pretty much the same, I would have thought. I don't think he's going to tweak too much in the defence, and we don't need to, really. They're doing ever so well. So I see the back four being the same. I think it's the midfield where we'll see a change. And then if Martinelli is still short, I don't see him changing the front three either, if Gyökeres is okay. So it's just the midfield we might see one or two changes, or one, if that. But like you were saying, we should be able to pick from the squad, because there aren't many drop-offs now in the positions, and make more changes to give players a rest. Because like you said, we've got a very tough game at the weekend coming up. This is the frustration, Jack. We've got the squad, but we can't choose from it. So annoying, right? Whereas before, we didn't have the squad because we never got the players in. Now we're getting the players in. When are we going to get a break? When are we going to get a break where we can just say, do you know what? I'm going to pick him. Right, you're playing now. And not worry about, you got a thigh strain, or you've just come back from an ACL, or this or that. And our injury is always quite significant. There are never injuries which is just like, a couple of weeks you'll be fine. No, never the case. Anyway, I'm just babbling on. I don't know.
No, it's frustrating. You're right.
It is. I agree with you. The top 8 is so important, because plus we also save 2 games, don't we, or something, if we get through. Is it 1 or 2 games?
Yes, no, you do.
Yeah.
And for English teams, that is very, very important.
Massive,
I don't think that gets talked about enough, but that is very important, because it's just relentless in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And
And don't forget, FA Cup starting soon as well. So look, we need.
And now we've got this Carling Cup game that we can't fit in.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Palace, yeah.
Yeah. So look, we got games galore coming up. Oh God, this is tough, because. I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0 midweek. 2-0 midweek, and I'll say Saka. He needs a goal. Make up for that miss. Saka 2-0 midweek. Sunderland, you're right, is a good team at the moment, but then so were Burnley at home, and we managed to sort them out. So I'll go again the same sort of route. I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 Saka midweek. 2-0 if he's back and flowing, Gyökeres again. So Saka, Gyökeres.
Hopefully.
2-0.
Hopefully, yeah. If Sunderland could go, I think they play Monday. They could go second. Oh well, City play tomorrow. We'll get to that. I'll go. Slavia Prague. I'll go 2-1 to Arsenal midweek. I'll go Saka as well, and I'll go 1-0 Sunderland. Eze.
Fair play.
Yeah,
I thought you'd go for it there, actually.
Yeah. I don't know if one of us said Gyökeres. It might be me, might be you for this weekend, but no, I don't think either of us predicted 2-0. I said 3-1.
I said 3-0, 2 goals for Gyökeres.
3-0. Oh yeah, closer. Good. Well, we'll take.
We'll take the wins. Okay, well, the score
yes, absolutely.
And let's please not get hung up on this defensive thing. We just need to keep winning. That's the main thing. No, and I do think, like our invincible record, I do think the Chelsea defensive record is pretty ludicrous. It's pretty ludicrous. It was in a day where the rules weren't different as such, but the offside rules definitely. I don't remember when the offside rule changed to being, if the player, because it used to be way back in the day, if anyone was offside, it was offside. Now it's not like that. So it was actually, it was a little bit different back then. It was harder to score in a way. And obviously you have VAR now that looks at everything. So I don't know really. Yeah. There's also more games now than there was 20 years ago. There is more games. It's harder to keep that sort of defensive intensity as well. So not making excuses for it, but that is an unbelievable record. 15 goals is just pretty incredible. Oddly enough, they didn't score that many that season. Obviously, they won the league. This is the thing.
I think they scored something. They averaged like 2 a game or something. And interestingly, I think we've scored joint most in the league this season, but it's quite a low scoring league so far. 10 games in and the highest scorers have 18 goals. Usually you're seeing someone in probably even the mid-20s by that point. I don't know, but I'd expect so. So that's
City,
quite interesting. Yeah, they have 18 and they have a game in hand. What are your thoughts on that? They've got Bournemouth at home tomorrow. Bournemouth are a good side, but it is at City.
Difficult. I don't know if they've got back to their winning mentality and formula, it's going to be difficult for Bournemouth. But Bournemouth have been pretty dandy, so
They're in second as well.
I'm hoping, yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping they want to keep it that way. They're like us. I think they're the only team that have only lost one game. I might be wrong, but I think that's correct.
Yeah. They only lost one to.
So
I don't know if they lost to. They lost to Liverpool first day of the season. That's it.
Oh, there you go, Liverpool.
Yeah. And they probably they could have easily got something there. That was that last minute goal or two. Yeah.
So they're probably going to be a tough team. Man City haven't got it easy. I don't think. I mean, it's not going to be. I don't think I'd be shocked and stunned if City score more than 2 or 3 goals against them. So Bournemouth could do. I see that as a draw. I'm going to go for a draw with that. Yeah. I'm hoping anyway. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're precious about their being up there. They're precious about only losing one game. They're going to want to hold on to that, Jack.
Yeah,
I think they'll give them a good fight. Well, I hope so. Anyway,
Semenyo Screamer, hopefully.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's a very good coach.
Might even get a win. Coach. Who knows? Who knows? Eh?
Well, they lost last week against Villa at home. Villa at Villa. So that was something because they were going on a bit, weren't they? City fans about how they've sort of, they're back now. And I was like, I've watched you. You're not. You're good, but you're not the same as what you were. You're not. I'm watching you. You're not saying, but obviously they're getting Rodri back now, so they Donnarumma, Rodri, and Haaland. That's a pretty formidable spine right there.
Yes.
But I do see vulnerabilities in them. Certainly in their back four, I see a lot of vulnerabilities in them. I think so.
I still think we are the most well-equipped team to win the league. That's the frustration because we don't have the players to pick. It'll be so frustrating.
It was similar last season in a way, Neil. I know we lost it easily, but there was times last season where we all sat here and thought, we get everyone fit. We are better than these teams. We are. We get everyone fit. And we never did. In fact, it got worse. It got so much worse that, never signed anyone in January. So it's hard, when people say, this is the best team, I'm like, so many things that can affect it. Because to be honest, no one other than Arsenal fans will say it, but we felt that for probably a couple of years.
Yes, right.
It's not turned into anything. So, you always have that sort of hesitation about it. And obviously when you're seeing injury a game and stuff like that, you have even more because you're like, well,
oh no,
not keeping the players.
It's heartbreaking in a way, isn't it? Heartbreaking.
Yeah,
it really
massively.
is.
But the squads and Mikel Arteta handle it really well. But these are 2 crucial games, absolutely. So let's keep our fingers crossed that your predictions are right again. Right again. We're at Purely Arsenal FP on Twitter. Thank you for tuning in and retweeting the podcast, everyone that does. Thank you for your comments, even if it's about Neil's pronunciation of names and things like that. We appreciate all of them. Someone was giving a go at you for your Jokeres comments, and I said that's the way we comment. That's the way we say it on here. We say it in different ways. It's coming from the heart.
See that?
Someone tweeted me. They went, "Why does he say Goikeres?" And I went, "Oh, don't know." I was like, that's Neil's way. He's got a different way of pronouncing it. It's all in love, really. That's what they got. That's what they got to say that. But we appreciate the comments. We're at Purely Arsenal on. Just type in Purely Arsenal on YouTube and listen to us there. If you don't want to listen to us there, you can listen to us on Spotify and your Apple stuff. But if you subscribe to us on YouTube, we do appreciate that. So if you're listening every time, it's free. Subscribe. You never have to listen on YouTube if you don't want, but get us the subscription. That'd be amazing. We'll be back next week after hopefully another 2 wins. Fingers crossed. Up the Arsenal. Thank you so much, Neil. Keep the faith.
Thanks.